Assalamu alaikum, my dear student. Today I'm going to start with the new poetry, and the topic for the same is Song of the Open Road. Before starting with this poem, student, I would like to highlight that I have already mentioned in my previous lectures that 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 there is a 20% reduction in your syllabus. So 2.7 and 2.8, that is poetry, that is omitted from your portion. Okay, so 2.1 or other poems we have already done. This is the last poem of the poetry session which I am going to explain. Rest of the poem I have already explained you. Clear to you? So today I am going to start with the new poem, that is Song of the Open Road, which is beautifully written by Walt Whitman. Okay, so before starting with the text, as usual we used to solve icebreaker, then I'm going to start with the explanation of the poetry. Okay, first question: choose the mode of travel that you would like the most for a journey. Student, there are four mode of transport: airways, waterways, railways, roadways. Okay, so out of these four, which you will going to use for mode of travel, and you have to give reason for that. For example, airway. If I have chosen airways, reason: airways is the fastest means of movement from one place to the other. Railway is faster than shipping and cheaper than air flight. Roadways is easy to access in hilly areas, and if one want to enjoy the scenic beauty, so roadway is the best option. Next, discuss with your partner the preparation you would like to make for the journey chosen. What preparation we have one used to make while going for a journey? First thing, we used to set a budget. Then we used to pick the destination. Then book your flight. Book your accommodation. Then packed light and right. Proper cloth, comfortable cloth. This is the best option for the journey. Discuss the ways in which you would overcome the problems or hindrances, difficulties you face during your journey. There are certain ways that help us out to overcome with the problem which we face during the journey. Okay, prepare your mind. First of all, prepare your mind that uncertainty can happen and take it as a positive things. See things for how they really are. See how things are, then act it accordingly. This is the best option to overcome with the problem. Next, need to be mindful and control your emotions. Don't be so hyper and all that these things happen with us, and then you have to mentally prepare for everything, because you are on a journey and anything can happen. So you need to be mindful and you have to control your emotions. Next, keep emergency contacts ready. Always remember that wherever you go, when we left our place, so here we go to some other place, so we are very cautious about it and always think that anything can happen. So always keep an emergency contact ready with us. It's a best suggestion, advice, that always keep emergency contacts ready beforehand while going on a journey. Next, during every journey we have to observe certain rules. Discuss your ideas of the journey without any restriction. You can begin like this: if I would like to go along with my family. Somebody used to like to go with selective friends. Somebody used to go alone. Okay, so I would like to go alone with my family. So certain rules I will keep in mind. Okay, that I would hardly use any cell phone, so that I could spend much time, or you can say quality time, with my family. I would explore whole place and enjoy every single minute. I would adjust with the food. Sometimes it happen we really don't like the food, but what will happen if we have to adjust? So always keep in mind that whatever is available, whatever type of a local cuisine is available there, we need to adjust. So I would adjust with the food, and without pinpointing will enjoy the cuisine. So these are the some rules that during every journey we have to observe. Clear? Now student will go here. Before starting with the poem, I would like to give a brief introduction about the poem. As I said, the poem Song of the Open Road is written by Walt Whitman. Okay, Walt Whitman, student, was an American poet, famous essayist and a journalist. Whitman is among the most influential poet of his time. He is often called as the father of free verse. He grew up in Huntington in a family with difficult economic status. His major work, Leaves of Grass, was published in July 1855. His poem, "O Captain, My Captain," is written on the death of Abraham Lincoln, and it became widely popular all over America. This poem is one of the, you can say, is one Song of the Open Road is one of the poem which is taken from his collection of Leaf of Grass. Okay, from his major work, this poem Song of the Open Road is taken. It is one of the poem from the collection of Leaves of Grass. His collection, his work Leaves of Grass is beautifully blend of self-awareness, free will and tenderness of heart. It gives poet himself a realization that along the journey of life one will face a test of wisdom which is not tested in any school or in any university. So the poem Song of the Open Road is something everyone uses, whether it is a rich, whether a poorer. It forces all levels of people to associate it with one another. So the road signifies mobility. One can take the road as a point to start over something new. So Whitman talks about the people and the places in this poem, and he argues about staying in one place for too long, although the hospitality may be true. So we are going to start with the explanation poem. Each stanza I am going to explain. By stanza wise I am going to explain you about the summary of this poem Song of the Open Road. Student, Song of the Open Road, as I already mentioned in the introduction, that Song of the Open Road is one of the poems in the collection of the American poet Walt Whitman. It is taken from his own collection, from his own work Leaves of Grass. This poem describe a trip. It describe this poem Song of the Open Road. It describe a trip the speaker, that means the poet, takes in order to learn about himself and enjoy the journey to an unnamed. There is no destination. He has not decided any kind of destination that where he want to go. So in this poem Song of the Open Road, the poet, you can say, describe a trip. Okay, this poem described by in this poem Walt Whitman describe a trip that he takes in order to learn about himself and enjoy the journey to an unnamed destination. Clear? Student, I am going to read the first three lines, that means the first stanza of the poem. Afoot and light-hearted, I taken to the open road, healthy, free, the world before me. The long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose. Here, student, I can say that the speaker of the poem is describing a trip on which he is embarking, and he described himself as a healthy and a free, himself as being healthy and free, and he realizes that he is the only person who is in complete control of his life, and he chooses his own destination. What I said, the speaker of this poem is describing a trip, okay, which he is embarking. He describes himself as being healthy and free, and he chooses his own destination because he realizes that he is the only person who is in complete control of his life. Clear? The first stanza. Speaker is in a cheerful mood. The speaker of this poem is in a cheerful and open-minded mood. And I said he set out on a journey, on an open road. I said his destination is not fixed. His destination was not fixed because according to him, life is a journey and not a destination. Okay, his destination was not fixed. He has not chosen his destination because according to him, life is a journey and not a destination. So what he has chosen the open road. Okay, he has chosen the open road. Okay, then here he is in complete control of his life, as already said. Right from the beginning, speaker he will choose where the path will take on his journey. The first three lines indicates that, describes that poet, you can say the speaker of this poem, he is going to embark a journey. He feels that he describes himself as being healthy and free. He chooses his own destination. His destination is not fixed because according to him, life is a journey and not a destination. And he realizes that he is the only person who is in complete control of his life. So he is only deciding which path to choose. Okay, he is only deciding which path to choose. Clear, student? First three line, that means first stanza of this poem. Second stanza. Henceforth I ask not good fortune, I myself am a good fortune. Beautiful line. Henceforth I whimper no more, postpone no more, need nothing. Done with open indoor complaints, libraries, querulous criticism, strong and content, I travel the open road. Here, student, second stanza, it is of 4 lines. Okay, first stanza is consists of 3 lines. Second stanza consists of 4 lines, which I have already read in front of you. Okay, student, here in the second stanza he continues to express his thought. Okay, speaker says that here, speaker of this poem, right from the beginning announces that he is not searching for any material success. Okay, right from the beginning he describes that he is not in search of any material success. He says, I ask not good fortune. That means he is satisfied person. Okay, he is not asking for a good fortune. He is satisfied. That is why it is light-hearted. Therefore, he is light-hearted person. Because right from the beginning, he says that he is not in search. He said he he is on a journey, okay, and he has not chosen any destination, because according to him life is a journey and not a destination, and he is only deciding which path to choose. In the second stanza, right from here, indicate, because right from the beginning the speaker announced that he is not in search of any materialistic material success, because he says, what he says, I ask not good fortune. That means it indicates that he is a light-hearted person, he is satisfied, therefore he is light-hearted, okay. He does not want luck because he is carefree, okay, he is carefree, cheerful, and strong enough to make his own luck. Here, student, he doesn't have to pray for good because he is the maker of his own luck. He is no longer content with being veiled inside. He is strong and happy. Okay, he is strong and happy. In the sixth line, Whitman writes of querulous criticism. That means complaining, showing that one is irritated. No, here the speaker's carefree tone, and he continue throughout the he's in a carefree tone. He's in a carefree tone throughout the poem. The Song of the Open Road, he is carefree. Okay, here student, first two stanza I have already explained you, okay. Now third stanza, the earth that is sufficient, the earth that is sufficient, I do not want the constellation any nearer. I know they are very well where they are. I know they suffice for those who belong to. Third stanza, what poet says, the earth that is sufficient. I do not want the constellation any nearer. That means destination or any kind of an influential group nearer. I know they are very well where they are. I know they suffice for those who belong to them. Here in the stanza 3, he make reference to stars and earth, and he writes this stanza, okay. Here in the third stanza, Whitman makes reference to the earth and stars, okay. Here the speaker seems to separate himself from others, okay. He seems to separate himself from others. That means he is happy to be separated from others, you can say. He doesn't have desire to get closer to the stars than he already is. I said in the third stanza he makes reference to the earth and the stars. So what Whitman say, that Whitman says seems to separate himself from others, okay. That means the speaker is so content with himself that he is happy to separate from others. He doesn't have any desire to reach the star, I said, because he doesn't have any desire to be any closer to the stars that he already is. He knows that they are fine where they are, and he knows that they are good enough for those who belongs to them. The last, you can say, student, the last line of this stanza is so strong contrast to the rest of the poem, where Whitman emphasizes free will independence. Yeah, I know they, you can say he doesn't belong to them because he doesn't He does not need them. I do not want the constellation any. That means he probably doesn't include himself to any in the group of people who belongs to the constellation. Constellation that constellation that means any influential group. So he doesn't feel to belong to the group of constellation, because he knew that here he knows that they are fine, and that means here I said in the third stanza poet give reference to the star and the earth. Again I am going to you can say explain you the third stanza. In the third stanza poet, you can say, makes reference to the star and the earth. Okay, so here speaker seems to separate himself from others. Okay, because the speaker is so content and is happy to be separated from others. He doesn't have any desire to reach this. He doesn't have any desire, or doesn't have any desire to be closer or to the stars. Then he is already is. He knows that they are fine where they are, and he knows that they are good enough for those who belongs to them. So the last line, this is the strong contrast to the rest of the poem, and the speaker emphasizes on his free will and independence. Okay, is suffix for those who belongs to them. Free will and independence, poet has emphasizes, and poet here, speaker probably doesn't include himself into the group of constellation. That means into an influential group, because he doesn't belongs to them, because he doesn't need them. Clear? Stanza 4. The fourth stanza. Still here I carry my old delicious burdens. I carry them, men and women, I carry them with me wherever I go. I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them. I am filled with them, and I will fill with them in return. Okay. Last stanza of this poem. The fourth stanza of this poem is physically separated from the rest of the poem. Okay. Poet in the last stanza make use of parenthesis because it is given in a bracket. So poet in the last stanza is a parenthesis, or you can say the poet make use of parenthesis in the last stanza. That is the fourth stanza. He makes the stanza more of a aside than its own separate being. He is aside by this bracket. He aside this stanza from the rest of the poem. Rather than make it as a separate being, he just aside this fourth stanza by making use of parenthesis. That means because it is given in a bracket. This poem could the poet decides to, after thought, he decides to throw in this stanza because it is still important to the song of the open road. The poet could not be complete without this line, I said. These lines, these 4 lines, the last stanza, these are like a self-confession. Self-compassion, you can say. Apart from that, he uses the word delicious. Okay, you can see that he uses the word delicious. This word, through this he conveys the sense of relish. The speaker feel of his burden. Okay, if he'll relish, the speaker feels of his burden, you can say. If the sense of relishness is expressed, the speaker feels for his burden. In the second, I carry them, men and women, I carry them with me wherever I go. In this line, the speaker admits that he carries them with him wherever he goes. I carry my old delicious burden. Old delicious burden, I can say relishness. He used this word because he convey the sense of relish, okay, of his for his burden. So he says that the next line, the speaker says that he carries this delicious burden with him wherever he goes, and he continues says through the last. The speaker says that declares that he cannot rid himself of them. He and his burden have a symbolic relationship. It's kind of a symbolic relationship between him and his burden. The speaker is, you can say, he doesn't disown them, but he relishes them. Okay, this acceptance of life gives the speaker relaxation. The speaker is stating here that his burden do not define him. Rather, he accepts them and carries them with him wherever he goes. So beautiful line, beautiful. The last stanza here indicate that how he used to carry himself with his all wherever he go. His burden do not define him. Rather, he accept them. He accept and carries them with him wherever he goes. So it's a very beautiful poem. Student, this poem is an inspiration. I think it can be asked in the paper in the board exam that what kind of poem is it? It is an inspirational poem. Okay. Apart from that, student, in this poem, the poet personal pronoun is used. I. Okay. Basically, you can say this personal pronoun I is very prominent in this poem. And it talks about self-motivation, awareness, freedom from stresses in life. Clear? Apart from that, this poem is a dramatic monologue. Why it is dramatic monologue? Because the poem has used free verse. Free verse, that means this poem has an unrhymed scheme. First stanza is of 3 lines and rest 3 stanza is of 4 lines. So poem is called as a dramatic monologue. It is a free verse. Poem is of free verse. Okay. Free verse, student, gives an opportunity to talk to his reader in an informal conversational tone. Okay, so Paul Whitman uses a you can say free verse. He uses a free verse to write this poem. Okay, and because it gives a reader an opportunity to talk to his reader in an informal manner. That's all for today. Okay, thank you. See you in the next lecture.